back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the 2024 Los Animas County Fair. Let the good times grow, beef and cattle show. That's the theme of the fair. Let the good times grow, Brody. I should have had a Brody cam right on there. I got a good eye roll after that good joke.
Yeah, only because I've never heard it spoken out loud before.
Let the good times grow.
It
Absolutely.
got to me a little bit, but yeah.
Well, it's been a fun day so far. This is our third broadcast of the day. We started the day off with the sheep show, followed by the goat show. The goat show probably has the most entries of any of our livestock events here at the Los Animas County Fair. Both the sheep and the goat show. Grand champion honors went to Hope Vernier.
Yep, she had a pretty stellar performance today. Coming in the beef show, Hope does not have any entries today, so there's hope for someone else to win. Sorry, that was low-hanging fruit.
I tell you, folks, we got a ton of them.
But no, it should be a good one. It's going to be a smaller show today, as we've got 4 market classes worth of people, but we'll still have all the showmanships beforehand and all the breeding classes afterhand. Afterhand is that
afterwards?
There you go. It's been a long day, and I just woke up from a nap. But no, it should be a fun show. Should be a fun show. Looks like we've got our senior showmanship people lined up and ready to go, coming down the alley.
Fantastic. As we're getting ready for that, looks like we got a few seconds. I'm going to kick off let us hear from one of our sponsors for the fair, High Desert Hunting.
The High Desert Hunting Company is based outside of beautiful Aguilar, Colorado, at the foot of the Spanish Peaks. Their specialty is one-on-one guided hunting adventures targeting your once-in-a-lifetime trophy animal. Originally known as Zelly's Hunting Club when it was founded in the 1930s, the modern-day High Desert Hunting Company also specializes in leasing and managing high-quality private ranches for big game trophy hunts, bringing in clients from all over the world and bringing money into Los Animas County. Give them a call today.
Big thanks to Sean Zelly and the good folks at High Desert Hunting Company for supporting our broadcasts of this 2024 Los Animas County Fair. Sean and High Desert Company, they've been great sponsors of ours, but from our sports seasons all the way through the other things that we do, we really appreciate them stepping up to the plate. You can see the contestants there getting ready to line up for showmanship. Brody mentioned it a little earlier, the order of events this evening. We will start out with our showmanship classes. If they stick with the same order of competitors, we'll start with the senior showman, then intermediate, then juniors, then follow with probably the bucket calf competition, or our youngest of their junior showmen, as we've been calling them.
Mm-hmm.
After the showmanship competitions, we'll have the market classes, then the grand drive to crown the grand champion market steer. After that, we'll have the breeding classes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Los Animas County Beef Show. We're really excited to see you guys all out here today, and we're going to get started with our senior showmanship class. First up, that needs to be coming into the ring is Liam Doherty, Owen Doherty, Kira Larson, Caleb Sumner, and Jacqueline Rogers. Getting ready to come in needs to be the intermediate showmanship, Colin Doherty, Hunter Lucero, and Jacob Larson.
All right, here we go, folks. Senior showmanship about to begin. You heard the voice of Chrysalie Faria on our PA system announcing all the competitors in this class. First in the ring, Jacqueline Rogers, followed by Owen Doherty, his brother Liam Doherty. See, who do we got next coming in there, Brody? That's Kira Larson. I thought I heard them announce Caleb Sumter as well, but I don't see him yet. Oh, and Kira's little calf decided to chill out a little bit.
You know, that's part of the struggle. Oh, never mind. Here it comes.
Caleb sneaking in the back door. It's kind of interesting to see what the different styles and trends are in showmanship from species to species. You know, as we watch these beef showmen, they're a little more laid back. As we watch some of the sheep showmen, the judge, that judge was wanting intensity. There was one young lady that was very smiley, actually placed very well in that showmanship class, but his advice to her, she actually won the class, was to smile a little less, be a little more intense. That's what he liked to see out of his showman. But she still won the class, so she still had great handle on
she had
her.
something going for her, but yeah.
Caleb Sumter leading them out on this next walkabout. As long as they don't line them up to groom them right here in front of our camera, we're going to be all right. We may have to extend our camera height, Brody.
Yeah, we'll do our best. And now what we need to do is have the multiple angle broadcasting for these shows, so we can have like a sky cam to get the top-down views of all the cows in all their glory.
You know, I would almost sell tickets if we were going to try to fly a drone in here during the steer show.
Oh yeah, no, that would be fun. Then you really
the
have
rodeo
some
begin.
You have some really rowdy cows on your hands after if you do that.
We got some good-looking steers here. This is going to be interesting when it comes market contests. All right, we went from empty bleachers about 15 minutes ago. Looks like we got about 150, maybe 200 people here in the stands to watch the big boys play.
Well, I guess in this case we have one little boy in the ring, as we got a bucket calf led by Kira Larson. But, you know, that's part of the strategy. Sometimes the smaller animals are easier to manhandle and direct around the ring, but there's a fair chance they're less behaved, as we saw that one take a seat earlier. But that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, these older ones will be they tend to be a little bit easier to train. They're not quite as stubborn as we see this little one off to our right. Giving Miss Larson a little bit of a tug session. These senior showmen all doing a pretty good job getting their steers set nice and quickly. I mean, that's really the goal here. Set them quick, present a nice profile to the judge, and then relax. Get your steer to calm down and just stand there and let the judge go to work.
Now, would I be amiss, Mr. Brad, to say that Caleb Sumter currently has a heifer?
I believe you are correct, sir.
See, I'm no livestock aficionado.
I did say they got all their steers set, didn't I?
Well, no, I don't think you were wrong.
Our judge
It
today
didn't dawn
is
on me
Brady
until
Maycap
after you said that.
and is originally from Ray, Colorado, where she grew up on a commercial cow-calf operation and showed steers, heifers, and hogs at the state and national level. She also went through livestock judging at the 4-H level, which led her and her team to honors at the national contest and representing the United States at the Royal Highlands Show in Scotland. Judging led Brady to Butler Community College in Kansas, where she was named the High Individual at the National Western Stock Show, as well as a part of the High Team at the Nail, which then led her to being named an All-American. Brady recently graduated from Butler Community College in May and will be attending Texas Tech in the fall to participate on the livestock judging team and continue her education in animal science and livestock nutrition. We are so happy to have her here today.
A little introduction to our cattle judge this evening.
Very decorated judger at that.
You know, one of our Los Animas County Fair alumni, Miss J.C. Sumter, also recently graduated from Butler Community College, and her younger brother, walking right in front of us, Caleb Sumter, set to attend Butler this coming fall.
Alrighty. So lots of Butler representation out today.
You know, it's interesting when folks think about, earning college scholarships and different things based on what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Athletics, trying to get onto a sports team or maybe some academic scholarship. Quite a large, significant number of students, more than you would realize, earn college scholarships based on livestock judging to go be part of livestock judging teams, then which allows them, summer things like this to kind of work county fairs and whatnot, and then work your way up in the judging world, trying to get into some of the majors and some of the other judging competitions. So it's a neat thing, and a thing that a lot of our, young competitors that really enjoy the competition tend to try to get into and take advantage of, is earning scholarships based on livestock judging.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I in high school, I was on a meats judging team with Miss Haley Larson, who is currently on the Texas Tech Red Raider meat judging team. I believe she has a scholarship to be there, and so she graduated from Clarendon in the fall and got to catch up with her. So it's just a really cool opportunity that she's been able to do and getting her college paid for through just, small school livestock stuff. Super, super neat.
Yeah, I appreciate what this judge is doing. She's really taking time with each showman, talking about technique, what she wants to see out of them in terms of showmanship, and that's always kind of interesting to me. Is these shows, both for in the market classes, the breeding classes, and even these showmanship classes, sometimes do come down to what the judge likes, what the judge is used to.
Let's give a quick round of applause to these senior showmen that we have out here today. I went through and talked to these three individuals one-on-one, and I talked about some things that maybe they did the best in terms of all of these showmen and some things that they can maybe work on. But I still think across the board, top to bottom, all five of them have shown that they've worked on these animals at home, and they've done a very good job putting in the effort. And so I want to commend them for coming out here today. But these two kind of sort themselves up in terms of being able to have a presence when they're in the ring. They have their animals set up all the time, and they don't have to poke at their feet much. They know how to walk their animals into it to get them the best view for me, and that's very important in showmanship, and it just goes to show how much work you have to put in at home to make sure that they can get to this level where you walk them into it and you don't have to do much else after they're already set up. So let's give these top two showmen a nice round of applause. I think there's some differences in terms of presence, in terms of eye contact, and in terms of the way that they handle themselves in the ring. But I'm going to go and select your grand champion senior showman, and then I'll go grab your reserve. One more round of applause.
All right, so Caleb Sumter just got the handshake of victory. He'll be your grand champion senior showman. Jacqueline Rogers will get second place.
Congratulations
He'll be your reserve
to your
senior
grand
showman.
champion senior beef showman, Caleb Sumter, and your reserve grand champion senior beef showman, Jacqueline Rogers. Coming in now should be your intermediate beef showmanship, Colin Doherty, Hunter Lucero, and Jacob Larson.
All right, Caleb
And getting ready for the
Sumter
junior beef
is going to be
showmanship should be Colton
returning
Larson and
to the
Caleb
round
Terry.
robin competition Saturday morning. That'll be at 9 a.m. We'll have that here for you on the Saddle Rock Sports Network. All of the champion showmen from the senior, junior, and intermediate classifications get to compete. They'll begin with their species and then rotate, showing a little bit of everything. And we'll have multiple cameras set up for you that morning. It should be a lot of fun from a broadcast and from a showing perspective.
Yes, sir, and in the ring now we have our junior showmen. Left to right on your screen, we have Hunter Lucero, Colin Doherty, and Jacob Larson.
These three showmen doing a pretty decent job. These three steers look to be behaving very nicely.
Little bit of confusion in the ring as we get moving into our next standing positions, I suppose.
Yeah, it's always kind of a bit of a challenge understanding where does that judge want me to line up. She gave me some hand signals, but I didn't quite follow. It's a little bit of interpretation required, you know? Here you go, our judge giving Hunter Lucero some more direction. Gonna take another loop around the ring here. There we had Colin Doherty. Here comes Jacob Larson right in the middle of your screen. Both Colin and Jacob will be teammates on the Branson Bearcat Junior High football team. We'll see if that coach can
We'd
put
like
together
to
a good
announce that
season
the
for him.
Branson Chinchera
For those of you
4-H
watching, I'm
Club
the
is doing
coach.
concessions in the northeast corner of the barn. So if you guys are hungry for bean and beef burritos, hot dogs, or any snacks and drinks, please go find them. Thank you.
Are you getting in the van?
Yeah, I got these Cowboys on me. Oh, for the little inside baseball, there's some relatives of mine. One of my sons, one of my uncles back behind me are doing a little fun selfies, and another high school football teammate of my son's was back there, and he saw it, so he gave me a funny face in the picture. It's pretty good stuff. Having a little fun here at the Los Animas County Fair. If you can't have fun when you're doing what you're doing, why are you doing what you're doing, Brody?
That is a very good question.
There's deep thoughts from Brad at the fair right there. And our judge doing, I think, a fantastic job spending time with each young showman.
Well, let's give these intermediate showmen a nice round of applause. Our numbers aren't the biggest in here, and I honestly think that there's trade-offs between each one of these kids in terms of their the way that they show their presence in the ring and their ability to get their animals set up. And I think you can pick and choose what your priorities are today and what you want to focus on in terms of showmanship. And for me personally, that's eye contact and intensity in the ring. Yes, I do want to see your animals set up, and I want to see them be able to walk into it without too much poking and prodding, but I still think that the presence that you bring to the ring and your ability to know where you're at in terms of spatial awareness and where I'm at as the judge is very, very important as well. I'm just going to go through and talk each one of their strengths and maybe weaknesses just a little bit, and then I'll go out ahead and get you a champion in reserve. A young man up here with the red and white calf, I think does a very nice job of getting that calf set up and gets him set up to look really well on the profile. I just think there's some times that you could step out in front of that calf, maybe give me a little bit more intensity, especially when you're walking around the ring. Very important to me, but I still think the way you get that calf presented is very, very well. A young man here in the middle with the Hereford mark steer, I think complete opposite in terms of this young man in front of you. Your eye contact and your presence and your ability to get him set up is very, very well. I think maybe you could hold your hand a little closer to his head, maybe take away from a little bit more distracting with your arm when you go ahead and move him. Also, just a little bit more space around the ring. If you utilize the space that you have, it'll allow me to see the cattle just a little bit better. If you utilize every single corner of the ring, it allows me to see your calf and what you have brought to me to present. But still, I think your presence, your eye contact, probably one of the better ones we've seen today. A young man here with the solid black calf, I think you do a very good job of eye contact, very good job of getting your calf presented. I think that there's a couple times when you want to get your back feet switched. They don't want to be you don't want to have your non-show side leg just a little bit farther, which I think could help to go with your calf's appearance if you'd be able to just get those back feet set up just a little bit better, a little bit quicker, but that's being really nitpicky. So I think there's trade-offs with each and every one of these showmen. I think they all have their strengths. Maybe not one just comes out here and jumps out to me in terms of a champion showman, but they all still do a very, very nice job top to bottom. Let's give them a nice round of applause. I'll go select your champion showman, and then I'll get you a reserve. The one that I leave out will unfortunately be third, but it's nothing to take away from him. They all do a fantastic job.
All right, folks, let's see who Judge Brady's picks. He's going to Colin Doherty. Colin's going to win it. And Hunter Lucero coming in second. So Colin will advance to the round robin showmanship contest on Saturday morning. Again, that begins at 9
Congratulations to our
a.m.
intermediate beef showmanship grand champion
Colin
Colin Doherty, reserve grand champion Hunter Lucero, and third place Jacob Larson.
Colin will start off showing his steer, then he'll get the opportunity to show a hog,
We will now be having our junior
a
beef
dairy
showmanship
cow,
with Colton Larson and Caleb
And
Terry.
I think, do they show
Following
goats?
this, we will have
sheep,
our bucket
yes,
calves,
pretty
horses.
much everything.
Dalton Dahlrick,
Yep, and they do have to
Sawyer
show a horse as
Lucero,
well.
Abilene Mosman, and Spur Robbins.
Oh, and here come our junior showmen.
In the ring right now for our junior showmen from left to right, I believe we have Caleb Terry and Colton Larson are our 2 junior showmen. We're not 100% sure on our names since we don't exactly have a picture roster to go with every face. But both these young men doing a good job of handling their cows.
Here they come, making the corner one more time. It's interesting when you are showing, animals of much different ages. The way you show a market steer is different than you would show a young calf like that. And you want to show and display different things. Similarly, if there was a breeding heifer here, you would want to display her differently than you would a market steer. So just different techniques, different objectives as each of these young ones trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And we have in the past at the Los Animas County Fair, we have had some dairy cow classes, although I don't believe that we have any today, as far as I know. But I could be very mistaken.
Well, I can pull up my inside baseball information, see if I can get some info here. It looks like we do have a few dairy animals.
Oh, well, I was very wrong.
We have 4 entered in the fair, in the contest this fair. And as far as our breeding program, looks like we'll have about 5 entries in the breeding program and a couple of bucket calves coming up.
Sounds like fun. Now, we'll most likely get to those after we do the beef market classes, of which I believe there are 4.
Yes, sir.
Now, like we've said for some of the other classes, I believe that for the showmanship portions, we need to introduce a talent portion of the showmanship contest. Like, what tricks can you get your animal to do?
Or what tricks can you do on your animal?
Ooh,
Only
also
2
valid.
With some of our
larger.
larger.
But
Oh, here we
let's
go.
give them a really quick, nice round of applause.
Let's listen to someone that actually really knows what she's talking about, as opposed to your eye just
2 young
having
men
fun
that
and
do a
enjoying
very,
the
very
show.
nice job in terms of eye contact in the ring, and they answered all my questions very well, especially relative to their animal and what they know about them, so I appreciate that. They're very different in the way that they show. One's a little bit more intense, one's a little bit calmer, but I still appreciate their eye contact throughout their ring. They get their animals set up and looking the part just for me. So I'll go out and select your champion and reserve junior showman. Let's give them one more nice round of applause.
It looks like Colton Larson is going to get the championship showman buckle for this junior class. And young Mr. Terry.
Congratulations to our junior beef showmanship.
Good job by both
Grand
of these
champion
young
is Colton
showmen
Larson
today.
And reserve Reserve Grand Champion goes to Caleb Terry.
All right, folks, get your cameras out. It's about to get real cute here in the arena. I see the bucket calf competitors lining up back there.
Coming in next is our bucket calf division. We have Kelton Dahlrick, Sawyer Lucero, Abilene Mosman, and Spur Robbins.
Abilene Mosman is going to lead out the contest.
Up is our Class 1 of Market Beef with Faith Thurston, Colin Doherty, and Cassidy Larson.
We got a stubborn little fella. Jody Amato, one of our superintendents here at the fair, member of the fair board, earning that paycheck.
Yes, sir.
There really is no paycheck, folks. It's a volunteer basis, all of our fair board members doing what you got to do. I think she's going to get a special ribbon.
Oh, yes. We're trying not to embarrass her too much, but we may have to show her the replay of this video just for fun.
Oh, yeah. This might make the highlight reel. She's going to hand off the duties to Blake Olguin, and that calf is going to try to lay down. Oh, little guy. He's pretty little.
Yeah, it's a long way to walk for those little fellas.
There's Mackenzie Riddle. You see her front and center doing a great job as one of our fair photographers. She's our in-ring photographer. Colin and Caitlin Lowe are doing all of the traditional stand in front of the banner pictures. You'll see that big blue curtain just opposite of the camera side of the ring here.
And credit to all of our junior showmen. For the rest of the open class or young shows, you're typically go in with an older friend that can help you out and help manage the animal you got. But these guys are doing a great job all on their own of dealing with.
Can you tell me what your name is?
Calton.
And what's your bucket calf's name?
Emily.
And how old is Emily?
12.5.
And what's your favorite thing to do with Miss Emily?
Feed him.
Interview time. Here we go. That was Mr. Dahlrick. Now it's young Mr. Lucero.
All right, can you tell me your name?
Sawyer.
And what's your bucket calf's name?
Jenny.
Jenny. And how old is Jenny?
3.5.
3.5. And what's your favorite thing to do with Miss Jenny?
Feed her.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
I don't know.
Sawyer and Jenny there doing a good job together.
You know, we got our wish. We've been saying that we ought to mic up all the little ones, but this is perfect.
Yes, this is fun. Oh, we're not miking up this young junior showman. I guess that's all right. Might have been a little microphone shy.
Oh, that's
that
all right.
happens. Well, our stands are beginning to fill up here, Brody. It's a fun thing to do, come out and watch a steer show on a Thursday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Now Miss Abilene Mosman. Let's see if we get a little microphone time.
Abilene.
And what's your bucket calf's name?
Ruby.
Ruby. And how old is Ruby?
5 months.
5 months. And what's your favorite thing to do with Ruby?
Walk her.
Walk her. Does she like long walks? Yeah.
Ruby likes long walks.
Oh, my goodness.
Too fun.
That's just too fun.
Well, let's give these bucket calf exhibitors a nice round of applause. I went through and talked with them each individually. They all said they're going to continue to do it, so that really impresses me in terms of our future in this industry and being able to have these kids to go ahead and take over showing at the Los Animas County Fair. One more round of applause, and we'll get started on our Market Beef Show.
All right, congratulations to all of our junior showmen here in the bucket calf class.
Congratulations
Rodeo
to all of
time.
our Cloverbuds in the open class for bucket calves. Coming in now should be Class 1 of Market Beef.
Maybe one of our in-ring
Faith
attendants,
Thurston,
Blake Olguin,
Colin
can just go
Doherty,
and
Cassidy
pick up that
Larson.
calf and carry it on
Lining up
out.
should be Class 2, Jacob Larson, Caleb Terry, Jace Rogers, and Hunter Lucero. Also, if anyone has a donation to the friends and family of the fair buyers, please find Tony Arnold or Bill Wilkinson to make the donation.
All right, folks, it is time for the Market Beef competition to get going. You know, I want to take a minute to thank all of our sponsors. You know, you'll see their logos rotating through the bottom of the screen, and it's difficult to show commercials during these shows because you never know how quickly they're going to come in the ring, and we don't want to miss any of the action. Sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's about 20 seconds like this one was. So you'll see right down there, Rocky Mountain Turf Solutions.
Okay,
Man, they
just
have
a
been
little
one of our
sidebar on that announcement about Friends and Family of the Fair. As most of you know, our sale is Saturday night, and sometimes someone comes to the sale and they want to contribute, and they might want to do a little more than an add-on.
They have been one of our big sponsors for the course of our broadcasting adventure. They built the new turf football field in Branson about 3 years ago. We couldn't be more happy with their craftsmanship and the product and the beautiful field we've been able to enjoy that out there in Branson these last 3 football seasons. Coming into the ring, we have left to right on your screen, Faith Thurston, Colin Doherty, and Cassidy Larson. These steers, the lightweight class, they all weigh over 1,000 pounds. Left to right, Faith's weighed in at 10:15, Colin's at 10:22, and Cassidy's at 10:60.
Yes, sir. These are not light animals.
Actually, this is a pretty good camera angle for us. We get a nice view as those steers walk away from us. Our judge is first to pull Colin Doherty's Hereford calf. And again, this is the first time we've seen this judge in the market competition. We don't know if she is pulling the top end of the class or the bottom end of the class first. We're about to find out, Brody.
Yeah, we typically catch on to the judges' patterns and preferences pretty quick, but it's always neat to see how each does it.
Well, a nice class of lightweight steers to start off the market class, and I think you need to go back to fundamentals in this class in terms of muscle and finish, and I think that's what this Smoky calf does here. Do I think he's the best in terms of his build, and do I think he's the most attractive from the side? Absolutely not. But when I get my hands on him right behind his shoulders, he's easily the biggest and most shapely out of the back side of his shoulder, and he is the most optimal in terms of his finish over his 12th and 13th. I like how he carries that shape down through his lower quarter. Obviously, I'd like to change him in terms of his build. He gets a little outside of himself going away. Doesn't quite handle his loin out to his upper hip quite correctly on the move. But I still think in terms of muscle, shape, and expression, that one goes ahead and does the most for me. Now this solid black calf that comes in next, I think is complete opposite in the Smoky calf in that regard. From the side, he's probably my favorite in terms of how long and extended he is up front. He's leveled down his spine and actually handles his hip and hind leg probably the most correctly out here. It's just when I get my hands on him, he just doesn't have enough shape and expression right behind his shoulder. He doesn't carry enough down through his lower quarter for me, but I still think in terms of look and presence from this side, he's probably my favorite. Hereford Mark steer that comes out next, I think has the advantage in terms of muscle shape up high. He's the most expressive over his loin and strongest out of his loin and upper hip. I just think that from the side, he gets a little more upright in terms of his shoulder. He cuts back into his flank, and I just don't think he utilizes his hind leg completely correct. But in terms of shape and expression, I actually prefer him ahead of this solid black steer right here. So really nice projects for these three young exhibitors. For these three young exhibitors, let's go ahead and give them a nice round of applause.
All right, so Cassidy Larson earns a spot in the grand drive.
Class 1 in
Second
place.
Oh, and we got a little rodeo back there. Cassidy's calf got away
and your class 1 winner
does
is
not
Cassidy
currently have a
Larson.
halter on.
I think we caught that one on
Coming
camera.
in for class 2 needs to be Jacob
Good
Larson,
job, camera
Caleb
work.
Terry, Jace
Cameraman
Rogers,
Brody.
and Hunter Lucero.
You know, I was a little curious why
Lining
we
up for
didn't
class
see
3
Cassidy
needs to
in
be
showmanship, and maybe that's part of the reason. Got a little rowdy cow.
Well,
Colton
the calf
Larson,
behaved well in the
Owen
ring.
Doherty,
Kind of what happened back
Jacqueline
there that tends to
Rogers,
happen
Liam
sometimes is
Doherty,
you
Jacob
have a show
Larson,
halter, and then
Kira
you have
Larson.
your
Also
regular
a
working
reminder to all of
halter.
our showmen to please
There we
take
go,
your
Steve
official
Larson, Dan Doherty,
picture.
and Justin Sumter able to get that halter back on Cassidy's calf back there. Team effort. Sydney Wilkinson getting in there for the calming scratch.
Absolutely. When the one year that I had a show calf, he enjoyed the between the legs scratch, and he would pick up his leg like a dog whenever he scratched in between his
I
legs.
remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yes, didn't do too well in the show, but that was a lot of fun.
All right, class number 2. Looks like we're going to have Jacob Larson, Caleb Terry, Jace Rogers, and Hunter Lucero entering the ring. Here comes Jacob and Caleb. Saw both of these young men in the showmanship contest a little earlier. Jacob steer comes in at 11:24. Caleb's coming in at 11:55. Here comes Jace Rogers into the ring now. Whoops, we got another little getaway. Sometimes that entry into the ring is the spooky thing because you got people right next to you. You're coming into a big open area. And that's kind of the moment that a lot of these calves will try to make a break for it. But Jace Rogers' calf coming in at 11:68, and Hunter Lucero's at 11:82. So a 60-pound weight swing from top to bottom in this class. How's that a little meth
Yeah, you're
on Thursday night here?
one of the sharper knives in the drawer. You think after a full day of looking at sheep and goats, your brain would be tired, but no.
I got to take a little nap and relax a little bit, have some in-laws that were fortunate enough and gracious enough to let us kind of crash in their camper here at the fairgrounds. A little much-needed shut-eye, helping us stay competition-focused here.
Oh, yes.
Another important reminder for all of our exhibitors who are planning to sell their animals at Saturday's sale, you need to fill out a market sale consignment slip as well as a quality assurance training program certification as soon as possible because those are absolutely necessary.
All right, you're hearing that announcement about the market sale. That's going to be Saturday evening at 6 o'clock. For the first time ever, we're actually going to live stream that sale. Now, very important note if you're watching at home, you will not be able to bid online in response to that video. You'll only be able to bid in person. But tune in. The auction is always a lot of fun to see these young showmen work their animals in the show ring. It's also just encouraging to see all the businesses and individuals that step up to, financially help these kids out with their projects. Well, at this point, Jace Roger and Hunter Lucero, their calves both behaving very nicely, nice and calm in the ring. A little bit of Hunter's calf was a little excited early on. Jace's calf nice and calm, really showing well. Judges pulled off Caleb Terry's steer. And Jacob Larson's next, likely going to place third. Looks like our judge wants to look one more time, comparing Jace Rogers and Hunter Lucero's calf. They're both here on this side, so I don't know which way she's going to go. Let's find out, folks.
Here, and I think the one that puts together the most good in terms of muscle, product, and still a high-quality look from this side is this red and white calf up front. He's the most attractive as you set him up through his front end. He's still bold in terms of his center body and big in his upper hip shape, but where he's probably my most favorite is where I handle him right out of the back side of his shoulder. He's the squarest and freshest right there and along his loin edge. Where I'd like to change him is in terms of his build. He gets a little more open in terms of his shoulder, wants to push his hock ever so slightly going away, but I still think study that calf from the side, and when you get a hand on him, for what he weighs, he's still the highest quality one in here in terms of look and presence. Young man's black calf that comes out next, I think complete opposite. That one's quality grade type steer. He's finished over his 12th and 13th. He's softer in terms of his center body, and I actually think he handles his hind leg just a touch better. I just like to see him with a little bit more expression up high and a little square out through his upper hip with a little bit more ring presence from the side, but still a very nice high quality good finish steer there in second. Young man steer that comes out here in third. I think from this side does a lot for me. He's neat and attractive up front. That one stays nice and level out of his spine and carries enough shape down through his lower leg. For me, I'd like to see him just a little softer in terms of his center body. Like to see him drop down in that flank ever so slightly. But from this side, very, very nice steer. Steer that comes out in fourth, I think has my absolute favorite hind leg when set into motion. He's easily the most flexible and laid back in terms of his shoulder and knee, and down through his hawk and rear pastern. I just think that in terms of muscle shape and genuineness up high, he just doesn't have enough for me in terms of shape right behind his shoulder and over his loin edge. But still, 4 very high quality steers that have some give and take. Let's go ahead and give those exhibitors a nice round of applause.
And that'll do it for our Class 2. So winning this class will be Hunter Lucero. Second place is Jace Rogers. Third is Jacob Larson. And fourth is
For
Caleb
Class 2,
Terry.
in fourth place, Caleb Terry. Third place, Jacob Larson. Second place, Jace Rogers. And your Class 2 winner, Hunter Lucero.
Here we go.
Credit to
Hunter
Lucero.
staying
Class
with
3,
it.
Colton Larson, Owen Doherty, Jacqueline Rogers, Liam
Got the
Doherty,
handoff to Dad
Jacob
behind the
Larson,
curtain over there.
and Kira Larson. And needing to
Yeah,
be
Jace
lined up-
Rogers having a
needing
little
to
trouble
be
with
lining
his.
up for Class
It's
4
always a
is
potential
Jacqueline
rodeo
Rogers.
here in the show arena. Class 3 making their way into the ring. Well, this is our biggest steer class of the day.
Leading us out, we got Colton Larson. Waiting for our next couple.
Colton's calf weighed in at 12:06. He's the lightest one in this particular class. Heaviest one's going to come in at 12:70. His sister's steer. I'm sure we'll see that one come in here in a second. Here comes Jacob Larson, one of the heavier class in the steers in the class at 12:64. Jacqueline Rogers coming in. Her calf at 12:47. Here's Owen Doherty making his way into the ring. 12:33 is what his steer weighed in at. He'll be followed by Liam Doherty, his brother. 12:62 is what Liam's weighed in at. On the far side of the ring, Kira Larson and her calf at 12:70. 7 really nice calves here in the ring.
Just 6.
We are also going to recognize our gold sponsors.
Yeah, 6.
For
You
the
can count better than
2024
me
Los
today.
Angeles County
That's
Fair,
all right.
Topar Trailer Sales.
You did your math
Trinidad
earlier in
State
today.
College Foundation, Justin Scott, Los Animas County 4-H Foundation, Bob and Earls, First Choice Title and Escrow, Phil Long Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, J-Cam Catalyst, Weatherford, and Tri-Peak Theaters. Everyone give these sponsors a round of applause.
Chris Lee Faria letting us know who the sponsors of the fair have been. You know, those sponsors go in to help this fair stay afloat financially in terms of all of the costs associated with running the fairgrounds, with a lot of the extra things that just need to happen and bills that need to get paid to pull off this fair. So we really appreciate each of those businesses and individuals and families that have stepped up to help make this tradition keep on rolling.
Yes, sir, and it's not exactly a simple endeavor. And we have a massive appreciation to all the people on the fair board that have stepped up, and I think they volunteer most of their time to be out here and help lead these kids and set up our programs and all that funness.
Our judge getting a nice look at the side profiles here. Judge wanting one more profile look. You know, it's always an interesting strategic match. You want, when the judge is looking at your animal, you want that animal to be moving fluidly to really showcase the structure of that animal. And if the animal in front of you has stopped, it's almost like you want to wait until you have room to move. It's kind of like you don't want to be caught in stop and go traffic on the interstate. You don't want to get caught in stop and go traffic here in the show ring. But when you're dealing with an animal that's 1,200 pounds, this is when the work ahead of time is definitely helps out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when you're dealing with an animal that's close to 10 times your weight, there's only so much you can do to muscle that beast around.
You know, and for the showmen that are able to get to jackpot shows or other events to give their animals some more in-ring exposure, that always, you know, is beneficial in every possible way. Just like practice for any kind of athlete, the animal needs just as much practice in the ring as the showman sometimes. But, you know, some families don't have the opportunity to hit those, and so this could be the very first time a lot of these animals have seen any time in a show ring. So you always hope for the absolute best. Want to talk up one of our sponsors. Looks like our judge is beginning to work her way through the class. You'll see LARCC Trucking right down there, their logo on the screen at the moment. They've been one of our biggest sponsors since we began this endeavor. Very involved in the Branson-Honey community. Kim as well. If you need anything hauled, they can definitely get you taken care of. Looks like Jacqueline Rogers, her calf getting pulled out, followed by Owen Doherty. Colton Larson, Jacob Larson, Liam Doherty, and Kira Larson still in the ring. A brother-sister combo, a cousin, and a Doherty still in the running for the class.
3 Larsons and a Doherty walked into a show ring.
It was kind of funny. During the GOAT show today, we realized that every class winner, last name started with a V or a W. It was a very predetermined, no, I wouldn't say, it was destiny. It was destiny.
Yes.
We'll call it the Volkswagen show, the Volkswagen GOAT show. Looks like Jacob Larson is going to win the class. Colton Larson is going to come in second.
Well, I think think this class can be challenging in some ways in terms of what you prioritize. And for me today, that's muscle and that's finish, and they have to do that before they do anything else. I'm not going to say that my class winner is perfect in all of those regards, but I think there's pieces of him that go ahead and reach the farthest. I think that he is the most expressive in his shape right behind his shoulder and over his loin. Is he the most expressive, though, down through his lower quarter? Absolutely not. I don't think that he's the perfect example of being optimal in terms of his finish, but we also have to take into account that these are lighter weight calves that aren't ready to be killed just yet. So I think with his combination of such an expressive muscle shape up high with a really high quality look from this side and still saying sound enough on the go lets him go ahead and win today. Young man's market heifer that he brought in next, I think, is the complete opposite of the one that we got to win. This is absolutely the best heifer in terms of finish and cover that she has down through her 12th and 13th, and I appreciate that. That's an easy feeding type of heifer, but with that, I'd like to see her have just a little bit more shape and expression up high and carry it down low. Now, in terms of quality grade, very nice heifer. In terms of yield grade, I like to see her just a little bit more muscular. Now, the two that come in next, I struggled, and I think you can go either way because those are two high-quality steers that are really muscular. They're adequate in terms of their finish, and that's why I pair them up. But in terms of build, I think they have some differences. Solid black steer that I used here in third, I think he's softer in terms of his center rib cage, and he's deeper in through his flank. I think he gets too upright in his shoulder and a little straighter in his hock, but in terms of muscle and finish, he probably does it just a step better than the young man's black and white calf that comes in next. That calf, very good in terms of his finish. He's covered over his 12th and 13th. Again, I don't think he's correct in the build of his shoulder, and I think where he gets beat by this calf is that he's not as expressive up high. He's not as expressive out of the back side of his shoulder and over his loin edge. In terms of finish, though, he's better than the steer ahead of him. So I think those two have some trade-offs. You can flip them either which way. Young man's white calf that comes in next. I think in terms of quality look from this side, probably one of my favorites. He's neat and fresh up through his front end, neat and extended. I just think when I get a handle on him, he gets a little staler over his edge. Doesn't come with enough finish today. Young lady's solid black steer that comes in next, I think is similar to the market heifer in terms of a quality grade regard. That one's a finished steer that has enough cover. I just don't think in terms of muscle he has near enough, both up high and down through his lower quarter, but still a very nice grading steer for that young lady. Let's go ahead and give these kids a nice round of applause. Tough class here in our third set of market steers.
For Class 3 in 6th place, Jacqueline Rogers. 5th place, Owen Doherty.
First place goes to Jacob Larson. Second place goes to Colton Larson. Third place was Kira Larson. Fourth place was Liam Doherty. Fifth place was Owen Doherty. And rounding out the class was Jacqueline Rogers. There we go, sorry. And we've got one more class in Class 4 all by herself. Jacqueline Rogers with her steer weighing in at 1,444 pounds, Mr. Brad.
This calf is the heavyweight class.
Yes, sir.
Now, we did see this calf during the showmanship time. Very well-behaved, well-mannered calf. You really kind of have to have that if you're going to have an animal that's that big.
Oh, absolutely.
It needs to be well-mannered. Again, a testament to the work that Jacqueline has put in with this steer this show season.
We would also like to take this time to recognize our silver sponsors for the 2024 fair: Trinidad Animal Clinic, the Water Station, Dalvert Cattle Company, Larson Family, Coley's, and Black Bear Hardware. Please give these sponsors a big round of a hand. Our final and additional sponsors are Big R, Dave Lewis Trucking, Robinson Sawmill, and Ogres Operating LLC.
Just a single entry here in our last class of market steers, and I really appreciate this steer from a market fundamental standpoint. He's really expressive and shapely up high, carries that down through his lower quarter, and I think of the set that we've seen today, he's probably the best in terms of being optimal in terms of his weight, being optimal in terms of his finish. Is he the prettiest from the side and the most like a show steer? No, but when you break it down into fundamentals of muscle, finish, and build, I think he does all those things very, very well. Let's go ahead and give this young lady a round of applause, and we'll bring in our grand drive.
For the grand drive, we need the first place finishers from each class. Class 1, Cassidy Larson, 2407. Class 2, Hunter Lucero, 2401.
All right, ladies and gents, it is grand drive time here in the Market Beef Show.
2414.
Who's going to take home that big purple grand champion ribbon?
So please be getting ready.
Looks like we got a minute. So let's hear from one of our newest sponsors, Born Pretty Jewelry.
Born by J.C. Sumter. J.C. established Born Pretty in 2021 and began selling handcrafted Native American-made jewelry, mostly turquoise and sterling silver, through her online store. Since then, Born Pretty jewelry pieces have made their way to 35 states. J.C. sources all of her jewelry from reservations in New Mexico and Arizona and guarantees authenticity. Contact Born Pretty Jewelry or shop online at bornprettyjewelry.shop to find your next authentic piece.
All right, here comes our first entrant, Cassidy Larson. She won the lightweight class. That calf weighed in at 1060.
Following her is Hunter Lucero. Oh, why don't you go? You had.
Oh, 1182 is what Hunter's calf weighs in. Here comes Jacob Larson. He took first place in that class of 6. 1264 is what that calf.
First of all, thank you for everyone that
weighed
showed
in
up,
at.
and congratulations to all the exhibitors. My name is Sydney Wilkinson, and I've been given the task or honor, I don't know what, to present the Purple Rain Award tonight. My parents, Bill and Nancy Wilkinson, and the Aubuchons, Daryl and Louise, a couple years ago decided to put together some money, just additional money for the winners of the junior livestock shows. So Grand and Reserve. So Grand gets 500 and Reserve gets 250, and we just thank them for their generosity, and it's not me, so I'm not thanking myself. But anyways, we thank them, and we also just congratulations to these kids and their hard work. So congratulations, guys.
The sponsors of our championship market beef buckles are Saddle Rock Sports Networks and Ron and Stormy Morrison. If you would like to present those buckles, please come forward so that you can give them out at the end of the class.
Am I? We've got our 4 champion steers in the ring at the moment, or 4 first place steers rather. getting themselves all lined up. Now, most times we've seen in grand drives prior to this show, and both the goat and the sheep, the judges already had their favorite picked out. They have a pretty good mental image of what their favorite steer or animal has been throughout the whole of the show, so typically these grand drives go pretty quick. But it's always good to see the judge deliberating, giving everything a fair look up against the other bests in class.
Once again, we would like to thank today's cattle judge, Brady Midcap. If everyone could please give her a huge round of applause.
Well, not just me, but let's give the exhibitors a nice round of applause for coming out here and doing this today. It takes a lot to get up every morning, every summer, and come out and do this, and I really appreciate it. And you can tell all the hard work that they've put in. I want to commend the exhibitors. I want to commend them for doing such a great job and being able to get their animals to this finishing point. I know we still have a little bit of show left to go, so I'm going to run through and talk about these 4 that we got standing out here right quick before I go and pick your Grand and Reserve. Smoky steer that comes out of class 1. Big muscles, stout, powerful type of steer. I don't know if he's quite built right. I don't know if his loin is quite hydrated enough. For me, he gets a little bit more moderate, but I still think jam-packed full of muscle, lots of product in that one. Young man's red and white calf that comes out of class 2, I really like from this side. He's got a neat look to him, and he's soft in terms of his center body. For me, my biggest issue with him is if he weighs enough. I don't know if he's quite there in terms of being finished, and I don't know if he's quite there in terms of being 12 o'clock today, but still a very nice steer from the side. I could say the same out of the steer in class 3. I think a really high quality look from this side. That one's stout, that one's big shaped, that one's got a lot of power in him. I just don't know if he's perfect in terms of his quality grade for me today. And then the steer that comes out of class 4, I think in terms of market fundamentals, he's got the most in terms of being the correct weight and carrying the most amount of cover on him. But I just question if you give up that higher quality look from this side for one that's got a little bit more muscle and a little bit more product. I think there's many different ways to go, and it comes close for Grand and even closer for Reserve. So let's give these kids a nice round of applause, and I'll go select your champion. We'll bring the second in and grab your Reserve.
So, Grand Champion steer goes to Jacob Larson, which means that Colton Larson's going to come in as the second.
She's got a lot of quality. She's got the second most amount of cover in her, or over 12th and 13th, and carries a nice soft center body to her. I just questioned, does she have enough in terms of muscle shape and expression up high? I'm not sure. I think that your reserve gets even closer. You can go back and forth, but a young lady with the product-driven steer out of Class 4 is going to be my reserve.
There we go, and Reserve Grand Champion goes to Jacqueline Rogers. Fantastic beef show. That's our final placings. First place, Jacob Larson. And Grand Champion is Jacob Larson. Reserve Champion is Jacqueline Rogers.
Jacob Larson. And to our Reserve Grand Champion Market Beef, Jacqueline Rogers.
We'll have our buckle presentations right about now, and then we'll get into our breeding classes.
Today's Grand Champion Market Beef Buckle is sponsored by Saddle Rock Sports Network, and the Reserve Grand Champion Buckle is sponsored by Ronnie and Stormy Mosman.
And you'll see in the frame right now Mr. Brad Doherty, the sponsor, sponsoring this buckle on behalf of Saddle Rock Sports Network.
Having the breeding beef show, starting with bull calves under 1 year. So Colin Doherty and Kira Larson need to be getting ready.
Next up, we'll have the breeding beef show, where we have 2 bull entries. We'll be back after a word from one of our sponsors, Pawsitive K9 Solutions. So the Pawsitive K9 Solutions serves the southeastern corner of Colorado. We offer group classes, individual private lessons, as well as boarding and training. Everyone wants a well-behaved family dog. Let us help you learn to speak dog. We want all humans and dogs to have a good time while learning together. Contact us to get started on your dog training journey today. Massive thank you to all of our sponsors that have stepped up and helped support this broadcast of the Los Animas County Fair shows. It's been our absolute pleasure to bring from puppies to the pros and everyone in between. Pawsitive K9 Solutions serves the southeastern corner of Colorado. We offer group classes, individual private.
CynMar Land and Lawn Care provides proven and professional solutions for residential, commercial, industrial, governmental, and agricultural companies located in Colorado and Kansas. We provide top-notch services at affordable prices. You'll get skilled, trained technicians, not kids' day laborers or unskilled spare-timers. We also offer total weed control for alleys, driveways, fence lines, and more, plus noxious weed control. Give us a call today at 719-680-2651 or visit CynMarLandCare.com.
Alrighty, folks, we'd like to send a massive thank you to Ty Winter, our House representative for Colorado 47. He's been a fantastic representative for our little neck of the woods and has stepped up to sponsor this broadcast. He's a super cool dude, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say necessarily. Mr. Brad, what do we have to say about Mr. Ty Winter?
We are thankful for Ty and for what he brings to the community, representing us here in southern southeast Colorado. And, appreciate his campaign for stepping up and sponsoring this broadcast. Another sponsor I want to mention is the Trinidad Greenhouse and Floral. They are one of our newest sponsors, and I apologize, did not have time to get the commercial put together for them before we started this county fair. But they're located right here in Trinidad, up Highway 12, just a skosh past the high school, or really more across the street from the high school, really, very close to it. They have a wide variety of bouquets, vases, in addition to live plants, and that you can use to color up your garden. They also have some produce that you can replant in your garden. Beautiful selection, great customer service there at Trinidad Greenhouse and Floral.
When you partner with Rocky Mountain Turf Solutions, you become part of the family. Rocky Mountain Turf Solutions is a design, build, and install company for synthetic turf fields serving Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. We are the only owner-operated turf build and install company in Colorado, and we are a one-stop shop that does it all in-house, which means the people that are building your field care about quality and will make sure that it is done right. Choose Rocky Mountain Turf Solutions and join our family.
All right, we're beginning that breeding show, folks. Colin Doherty entering the ring with the first entry. His entry is a bull calf under 1 year. I believe there's one other entry according to our spreadsheet here in this class. I believe I see her making her way to the ring. It's class of young bulls. I think I see Kira back there in the distance, making her way, getting closer. Still got a pretty good attendance here. After the market show is done, the crowd does thin out just a little bit, but still quite a bit of crowd support for this breeding show tonight. Temperature's kind of nice. It's becoming a pretty evening here, Brody.
Oh, yes, sir. We've got just a little bit of haze in the air from the fires that are coming down from Canada. Or the smoke that's coming from Canada, rather, excuse me.
Yeah, they can keep the fires up there. That's totally
that's
all
what
right.
I'm saying,
I'd rather them not share.
Yeah, but those make for some pretty gnarly sunsets, if I do say so.
I hope it's not the maple forests, and we're going to have a maple syrup shortage.
Oh, that'd be tragic.
That would be tragic. Both these young bull calves looking pretty good this evening. Kier's calf is a little bit stubborn back there, needs a little bit of extra help and encouragement. Sometimes I need a little extra help and encouragement. Nothing wrong with that, Brody.
That's very true. But you also don't have a halter strapped around your face are trying to be led around a sawdust pit.
Yeah, I might put up a little fight if that were the case.
Yeah, then understandably so.
So this breeding contest, we have a couple more classes. At the conclusion of our broadcast this evening, we will be back here bright and early tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., to bring you the swine show. Following that will be the the poultry and rabbit show.
We're going to leave these guys as they stand, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the purebred Red Angus bull. I just think in terms of build and performance, he does a little bit more for me. He's more correct in the set and square out of his hip. He's more correct and flexible in the set to his hock and rear pastern, and I appreciate how he's got just a little bit more growth, a little bit more frame size. A very nice project for that young man. Nothing to take away from the balancer bull that comes out here next. I think that's a muscular, shapely type of bull. I just like to see him a little squarer in terms of his hip. He doesn't quite get out and flex his hind leg perfect, but I think that's being awfully picky on a really nice bull calf. Let's give these kids a nice round of applause.
So bull calf under 1 year class. First place goes to
Congratulations
Colin
our bull
Doherty.
calf
Second place
under
to
1
Kira
year
Larson.
class. Second place, Kira Larson, and your class winner is Colin Doherty. Next up, we have Colton Larson coming in with his heifer calf under 1 year. And lining up needs to be the heifer calf 18 to 24 months, Caleb Sumter.
All right, you heard Chrisley give it to you straight. Here comes Colton Larson. He's the sole entrant into this class. The heifer calf under 1 year. Like the same little heifer calf that Colton showed in the showmanship contest.
And we know this heifer loved it so much walking around the ring that time.
Jody Amato didn't step in to assist. She had quite the adventure the first time through.
Very true. Although I think she was moving around a bucket calf when she came in. But I understand her not wanting to go through that ordeal once more.
You know, I do really appreciate the way this judge takes time to really talk to each exhibitor.
Just a single heifer calf in this class, and young man does a very good job of getting her shown. I really like that one in terms of her look from the side. She's neat and extended ahead of her front end. She's nice and level back through her hip and still sets down real flexible at the surface. Will be a very nice project for that young man come next year. Good job. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our heifer calf under 1 year winner, Colton Larson. Coming in now is our heifer class, calf 18 to 24 months with Caleb Sumter. Needing to be getting ready is the cow and nursing calf pairs with Colin Doherty, Jacqueline Rogers.
All right, we are waiting for Caleb Sumter. He's going to be the only entrant in this next. Oh, coming in from the left side. Caleb full of surprises today.
You know, that's the second time he's done that. Came in on a side of the ring we weren't expecting.
This class, the heifer calves between 18 to 24 months.
And now this is the same heifer that Caleb won showmanship with.
Caleb, a recent graduate of Des Moines High School. He will be attending Butler Community College this fall, where our judge
Just a single
Brady
entry
just
that
graduated
we have
from.
Here, right ahead of us with the young man's Angus heifer, and I think she's very, very high quality as you study that one from the side. She's so neat and extended ahead of her shoulder and plants down her rear foot so incredible and flexible from her hock down to her rear pastern. I really appreciate how incredible she is in terms of her body shape and still so flexible when you set her in motion. Very nice project for this young man. Let's go ahead and give him a nice round of applause.
You know, as we're watching this show,
Congratulations to Caleb Sumter and his class winner for the heifer
you know, I was
class
approached
of
by
18 to
someone
24
before this show
months.
began, wondering if
Coming in
they
now is our
could
cow-calf pairs with
advertise
Colin
their
Doherty
coming
and
spring
Jacqueline
bull
Rogers.
sale
And
on the
following
Saddle Rock
breeding
Sports Network. The answer is
championship,
absolutely.
Grand
We
Drive,
actually
we
had
will
several
have
ranches
security.
step up and do that as we covered our championship basketball tournaments in March and in April. So, yeah, this is a great way to get the word out there to communities that are passionate about supporting each other, you know, and a lot of the communities we serve are rural communities. So if you have a bull sale that you would like to feature and advertise and let everyone know the Saddle Rock Sports Network might be a great place to do that.
And in the ring at the moment, we have our cow-calf pairs. The first one is led by Colin Doherty and his brother Owen Doherty with the little heifer, or little steer, rather, excuse me. And coming in the far side of the ring is no one. I think we have Kira Larson on the list, but she has not entered. And we have a beautiful shot of Colin's calf right now. Can't really see a whole lot else, but that's okay.
Now on this, actually on my inside baseball spreadsheet, Brody, it actually looks like Colin is the only entrant in this class, unless there is a last-minute addition, which could be. It could also be back there. Maybe what you're seeing is our Grand Drive entrance, getting ready to re-enter for the Grand Drive.
That would make sense.
I don't know who's going to win this class. It's going to be pretty tough. It's a race between Colin and Colin.
That's very true.
Also, do not forget that the Branson Chinchera 4-H Club is selling concessions. They're located in the northeast corner under the pavilion. And
again, we want to
supporting the local 4-H clubs.
Thank all of our sponsors. Oh, they're just bringing in everybody, looks like, folks.
No, I think this is the second of our cow-calf pairs, I think.
Oh, we do have a second. Well, all righty.
This is Jacqueline Rogers.
This entry was not on our spreadsheet, but hey, that's all right. The more entries, the better. We like pleasant surprises like this. Jacqueline's done pretty well this fair already. Her market steer placed second overall. She was the reserve grand champion. Her market steer weighed in at 1,444 pounds, the biggest of the show. Both these pairs look really nice. Be interesting to see what Judge Brady decides to go with in this class. I do believe we have two entrants in the bucket calf competition, but those came out kind of during showmanship, so I don't think we're going to see those here after this.
Just two cow-calf pairs that we have coming in here in the ring, and I think that they both do a very nice job. You can tell that they both done a great job raising their calves. A little different ages on the cows and the calves, but I think you can tell in terms of their condition and how well they've done raising the calves that they're very well, or these cows are very, very good in production. For me personally, I just think that there's one that maybe takes it a step further in terms of her age and still being in the correct condition for a cow. Maybe she's a little bit more moderate, but I still like how flexible she is in terms of her rear leg and how well she's done feeding that calf on the side of her. Young lady, you're going to be our champion cow-calf pair. Nothing to take away from you, young man, with Red Angus. I just think that in terms of fleshing ability, she's maybe a little harder doing, and I think that's just amounts to the amount of energy that she's been putting into her calf, but still a very nice pair that you have for a project. Let's give these kids a nice round of applause.
All right, Jacqueline Rogers calf pair is going to take first place. Colin Doherty's pair is going to take second.
First place, Jacqueline Rogers, and second place, Colin Doherty. Can we please have all the first place females come in for the breeding grand drive?
Gentlemen, start your engines. It's grand drive time.
Oh, boy. So much fun. We got a handful of cows coming into the ring.
You know what we need to do? We need to take that one NASCAR announcer and dub in his voice. You know how he starts his races. God bless America. God bless the troops. Gentlemen, start your engines. It's something very passionate, very exciting. We were actually talking about that in our break today. My son Brock and I were joking about that. We should have something similar to the Grand Drives. You know, some big fanfare. Maybe we have some graphics on screen. The sound of engines revving.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some NASCAR imagery without violating copyright, of course.
Oh, naturally. Looks like we're figuring out who all needs to be in the ring.
Jacqueline had the easy job, just kind of hang out.
Yeah. Walk one big circle.
Now, folks, in the past, we've had a competition here at the Los Animas County Fair called the Futurity Class, which is a 3-year project. Now, I don't know if that is continuing on. I don't see it on the information I've been given, but I haven't been given all of the information of every single class that's showing. And that's all right.
The sponsor of the Breeding Beef Female Grand Championship buckle is Wilkinson Gel Beef Ranch. If you would like to present the buckle, please come forward before the end of the show.
One of the neat things about that Futurity project is you started with the single calf as a bucket calf, and then you showed it the next year as a bred heifer, and then you showed it the third year as a cow-calf pair. So it was really a fun thing to do, and it was a long duration of a project. My son Will showed a heifer named Sally. Sally had a special place in our family and in our hearts for 3 years, and she was a part of the extended Doherty Ranch after that. It was a neat thing to be a part of. So hopefully we'll see some Futurity classes here in a second.
We very well could. We also might have some dairy classes. We're unsure if that's something
that's
happening.
right. We got dairy entrance on our spreadsheet of knowledge. Well, let's see if that spreadsheet actually goes down and shows us any Futurity information. We do have a couple Futurity entrants. Looks like Faith Thurston and Colton Larson. Jacqueline Rogers also in that program. I'm glad to see that continuing on. Right here on your screen, we got the breeding females, the cow-calf pair, and Caleb Sumter's heifer. We shall see what Judge Brady likes. You know, as we've been sitting here watching various things at the show, I've noticed that Judge Brady has some very unique necklaces on and some really cool bracelets and rings. I think it's not a coincidence that her Butler Junior College fellow alumni, J.C. Sumter, one of our sponsors here on the Saddle Rock Sports Network for our fair broadcasts. J.C. owns Born Pretty Jewelry Company, specializing in Native American jewelry. She sources it all directly from reservations in Arizona and New Mexico. We'll talk more about that. I bet Judge Brady has some of that on. Let's listen to the reasons.
But 3 that do their job very, very well. I think there's trade-offs in terms of what condition you want them in and what they look like from the side. But I still think that there's one that does it to a next level. She takes it to a higher level in terms of look from the side, in terms of flexibility all the way down to the surface, and still being good enough in terms of her condition that I'm sure she's going to go out and maintain it as a cow. I'm going to go ahead and pick your champion, and then I'll go ahead and pick your reserve. Let's give these heifer exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Say that again.
Congratulations to our grand champion.
Just saying that with that selection, our grand champion breeding cow goes to Caleb Sumter. Goodness. And our reserve grand goes to Jacqueline Rogers.
Champion breeding female, Jacqueline Rogers.
Congratulations to all of these exhibitors here. We'll have our breeding males for the grand drive coming in here in just a second. All right, as we're taking our championship pictures, let's take a minute and hear from a couple more of our sponsors. We just mentioned JC and Born Pretty. Let's see what she has to offer.
Born Pretty Jewelry Company is owned and operated by J.C. Sumter. J.C. established Born Pretty in 2021 and began selling handcrafted Native American-made jewelry, mostly turquoise and sterling silver, through her online store. Since then, Born Pretty jewelry pieces have made their way to 35 states. J.C. sources all of her jewelry from reservations in New Mexico and Arizona and guarantees authenticity. Contact Born Pretty Jewelry or shop online at bornprettyjewelry.shop to find your next authentic piece.
Andreatta services and repairs well and water systems throughout southern Colorado. We provide well drilling, well rehabilitation, water pump systems, agricultural irrigation pipelines, septic systems, road construction, and general excavation services. As fifth-generation Walsenburg small business owners, we pride ourselves on being an active part of the local community. Good luck to all the student athletes competing today.
From puppies to the pros and everyone in between, Pawsitive K9 Solutions serves the southeastern corner of Colorado. We offer group classes, individual private lessons, as well as boarding and training. Everyone wants a well-behaved family dog. Let us help you learn to speak dog. We want all humans and dogs to have a good time while learning together. Contact us to get started on your dog training journey today.
All right, we're still working on our pictures here. They just announced we don't have a male breeding class grand drive because there was only one class of the young bulls. So we're going to move right into our dairy portion of the section. Dairy showmanship coming up next. It's going to be the Larsons, brother and sister competitors, Colton and Kira Larson.
Oh.
I just confirmed my suspicions directly with the source. Talked to J.C. Sumter, owner of Born Pretty Jewelry Company. And sure enough, she not just only knows Judge Brady. Judge Brady and her were roommates for a year. And yes, Brady is wearing some of JC's jewelry from Born Pretty Jewelry. So kind of a cool connection. You don't have to be much of a Sherlock Holmes to figure that out. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself, Brody.
Well done, Mr. Bryan. I'm glad you were able to figure it out.
I'm just a detective right there.
You got all the smarts in that noggin of yours.
All right, looks like we're just about ready for the dairy contest. And again, this is a different contest. Judging, obviously, criteria is going to be very specific to the dairy industry. The way you show a dairy cow is very different, Brody. You try to really highlight the udder is kind of what's been explained to me. So instead of setting the four legs square underneath, you try to stagger them so that the judge gets a nice view of the milk-producing machine.
Thank you for explaining.
And I see that
Coming in now is our dairy showmanship, Kira Larson and Colton Larson.
now this is interesting. I could be completely wrong because neither showman has a show stick. Notice the different traditional outfits that you show in dairy, an all-white outfit. When I was in grade school in Southern California, all 4-H exhibitors had to wear a similar outfit. White pants, white shirt, and a little green sailor-like beanie.
Really?
Yes, it was quite the look. In fact, I looked it up online a couple of summers ago, and some areas of the country still require 4-H showmen to show in the traditional white and green of 4-H.
That's kind of interesting. You know, I've heard of folks, since this is technically 4-H and FFA fair, like people will show in their FFA jackets when they're showing their livestock, but I didn't know that 4-H had a uniform at one point.
Yes, as a grade school kid, I mean, FFA obviously starts in high school, and the FFAers were allowed to show in their blue corduroy jackets and jeans, and we were so thinking and very jealous that they got to actually look kind of cool. Anything looks cool compared to the little green beanies that we had to wear.
You know what? That's fair. Was there like one store in town that sold your green beanies, or was it you had to make them yourselves?
No, I think you ordered them from a catalog or from some store, is my guess.
I see. This is back before the days of Amazon and instant shipping. And
yes, you know, this was when I was 9, 10, 11 years old. So we are talking roughly 40 years ago. So how those purchases took place, my parents took care of that, I really don't know.
Fair enough. So you got to show in the 4-H uni?
Several years I showed in that 4-H uni.
Nice. Were you walking around the big old beef cattle?
Big beef cattle, and there it was actually, they called it the California Midwinter Fair. 3 different counties would combine, and our fair was in January.
Oh, really?
Because in Southern California, we were just a few miles north of the Mexican border. The temperatures were so hot that you had to have your sale in January. And your fair and your show. Because when you get into 120 degrees in the summertime, that literally cooks bacon outdoors while it's still on the on the cloven foot.
You know what? That makes sense.
All right, Judge Brady, wearing that Born Pretty jewelry. Let's hear how she rates them.
Out here today, and I think they both do a very nice job. I think that there's differences between the two, and I still come back to one thinking that they're just a little bit more seamless in their transitions, a little bit smoother in the way they get that female to get around the ring. Young lady with the cow, you're going to be our grand showman. Young man, you're going to be reserve.
There we go. Pretty quick with our placements. First place goes to Kira Larson. Second place to Colton Larson.
You know, both Kira and Colton did a really good job and really were poised and had their cows just really under control, and they've obviously worked with them a lot.
This year's buckle was sponsored by Bill Loudon, and it's currently on order.
And I think we may just be keeping both these cows in the ring to do the, I'm not sure if it's a market class or if you're just judging
Yeah, now we're
not showmanship.
Yeah, we're judging them just as a dairy producing cow.
I see.
Yeah.
You know what? That makes sense. I'm not sure why I was struggling to put that together.
It's been a day. It's been a day. That's all right.
It's been a day, and we've seen quite a few cows. You know, I think what I would like to see in this show, I would love to see some Highland cows. That's one thing we haven't ever seen around here. Now, granted, they may overheat if they ever come out here, but I would love to see some Highland cows in this show. Maybe some of them big old Brahmas, like the ones with the big old humps on their back.
Some really exotic breeds. Yeah, why not?
Mix it up.
Entries here, so we're going to treat it like a grand drive. So I'm going to go through and talk each of them individually and then pick you guys up. Grand and Reserve. Young man with the heifer. I think a very feminine type of heifer. I think she's smooth and flat in terms of her shoulder and still correct in terms of her condition. And I appreciate how flexible she is in her rear too. Just don't read her to be as mature. Granted, she is a heifer. I don't think she reads to be as mature in terms of her udder development and in terms of a couple other things, but I still think a very, very nice heifer that young man is going to have a nice project for. Young lady's cow that comes out in the second class, I think really attractive up through her front end. I think she's a big and open in terms of her rib, and I really appreciate her udder development. If I'd like to change her ever so slightly, I'd like to refine her in terms of her front teeth shape, make them a little bit squarer and more matched in terms of her back and her front, but still a very nice cow there. I think in terms of maturity, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady's cow to win this deal, and then the young man, you'll have Reserve.
And there it is. Grand champion of the dairy show goes to Kira Larson, and Reserve goes to Colton Larson.
Yeah, two very, very good-looking dairy cows. You know, the Larson family really showing a lot of commitment and a lot of dedication to this project and this program. Really like what they've brought into the ring today. As we take all of our pictures, let's hear from another sponsor or two.
LARCC Trucking is the place to call if you have something to haul. A family-owned trucking business since 2021, LARCC is named after the owner's children, their motivation to create a successful future. LARCC is ready to help you haul your hay, cattle, gravel, or equipment anywhere in southwestern United States. LARCC also buys and sells hay. Give them a call today at 970-274-0826 and get ready to haul.
Woody's Furniture invites you to stop by one of their 2 convenient locations to browse their fine selection of beautiful furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more for your home. Visit their original store in downtown Raton or their new store in Trinidad on Freedom Road, right next to Big R, for a personal and professional furniture shopping experience. Woody's Furniture proudly supports the student athletes and student broadcasters of this tournament.
Cummings Trucking is your one-stop shop for all your transportation needs. We specialize in livestock, hay, equipment, and general flatbed loads. We also work with several hay farms and can find you any kind of hay or feed you're looking for. Give Cam a call or text today at 719-680-7883.
All right, we're coming back to the ring as we're watching that entry area. Looks like our first entrant, Mr. Colton Larson, has the bucket calf. Looks like he's just starting out that futurity project. Here on my spreadsheet, knowledge.
The official terminology.
Looking down here in futurity class year 1. Appears to be Colton Larson and Faith Thurston. Here comes Faith and Colton, both with those young calves. Again, they'll be showing these heifers for this year, next year, and the year after that. It's a 3-year commitment. And you don't have to keep these calves inside all year. The point is you bring them in before the sale, or before the show rather, work them, and then they become part of your herd most of the year. So I think this, unlike a lot of different parts of the show,
1.
is
Colton
more
Larson
real
and
world
Faith
than any
Thurston.
element
Leading
of
to
the
get
show.
ready is Class 2, Year 2, Jacob Larson.
It looks like we have 2 entrants here in the year 1 competition, and it will be these 2 judged against each other for the next 2 years. So Colton and Faith will revisit this arena with a bred heifer. These exact heifers will be returning, carrying what they will show in year 3, which is kind of neat. Well, let's talk briefly about our broadcast schedule for the rest of this fair. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be back at it at 8:30 a.m. with your swine show, followed up by the poultry and rabbit show in the morning. That'll be about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Kind of depends on how long the pig show goes. And that's all we're doing tomorrow. The next day, we'll be broadcasting the round-robin showmanship contest at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, followed by the market sale at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Very excited. We haven't broadcast the market sale before. It's always fun and entertaining to watch, but want to let you at home know that you cannot bid via the internet. So a YouTube bid as a comment will not be a valid bid. If you do want to bid on one of the animals, if you want to support the kids in the project, reach out to one of the fair board members. They'll put you in touch with one of the buyers clubs, so you can donate to that. Oh, here we go. Let's get to reasons.
I think is really impressive in terms of how stout and powerful she is for only being 5 months old, and yet I still think she comes with a high quality look from the side. Yes, I'd like to see her a little more flexible on her rear pasterns, but I think with all that power and all that substance, she still gets along perfectly fine for me. Young man's little heifer calf that comes out next, I know I already talked about her being real neat and extended up front and real flexible off her rear leg. I just think in terms of maturity, in terms of weight and age, she just gets out horsed in this class, but 2 very nice heifer calves. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to our Year 1 Class 1 Futurity calves. First place, Faith Thurston, and second place, Colton Larson. We will now have our Class 2 Year 2 calves with Jacob Larson. Also, a reminder for all exhibitors to please go fill out your quality assurance training program certification and your meat quality assurance sale consignment slip. They are in the Expo Center on a picnic table. Also, please do not forget to take your official fair picture with the blue curtain.
Just one here in our second year, and I think this heifer's really neat when this young man gets her set up from the side. I really appreciate her look and attractiveness up front and how flexible she is down from her knee down to her front pastern, and I could say the same for her hock and her rear pastern. For me, she wants to kick up in her spine ever so slightly, get a little tighter and more restricted up there, but in terms of look and quality that this heifer puts together, I think she does a very nice job. Let's give this young man a nice round of applause.
Good job to Jacob Larson with his Year 2 for Futurity project.
Congratulations to our class
Really
team,
appreciate the
Year 2
determination and
winner,
commitment
Jacob
that all these
Larson.
Futurity showmen people have. Join us tomorrow morning about 8:30 for the swine show, followed by the poultry and rabbit show. That's all we'll be doing tomorrow from a broadcast perspective. On Saturday, we'll have the round robin competition for you at 9 a.m. Then later on that evening at 6 o'clock is the market sale. We're going to be broadcasting that. Just again, one more time, a reminder, you cannot bid as a YouTube comment. You have to be here in person or have something worked out with the fair board ahead of time. We really appreciate your support. Any closing thoughts on the day, Brody?
I mean, I think it's been a good day. It's been fun to see everybody show, bring out their projects, and do their best. I'm glad that we are able to crash now, and we'll be ready back at it for tomorrow.
Absolutely. On behalf of Brody, on behalf of all these exhibitors today, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow morning at the Swine Show here on the Saddle Rock